Welcome to Future Role Model, a podcast that praises the unconventional and redefines what it means to be a role model. I'm your host, Natasha Pearl Hansen, and today I have my favorite humans on the planet, Justin Martindale.
Hey.
How you doing, babe?
I'm great.
We both just talked about how we're hungover, so we'll just be honest with that up top.
You know what? April, it's March and April birthdays that just wreck me.
Yeah, same. And I think it's because you come back from the holidays and you're like, I'm going to be a little bit clean and light. And then my birthday's in February.
Yeah.
And February is a short month, so I just drink the entire month.
Right.
And then by then, when April and May birthdays roll around, I'm just fucked.
I know. And I blame people's parents for having sex in the summer and creating children who have March, April birthdays.
Yeah, exactly.
So quit having that 4th
Summer
of July sex.
I know. I've tried to think about when I was actually created, and then I just get grossed out.
Yeah, I've thought about it.
So I haven't hung out with you in way too long.
A hot minute.
A hot minute. But I was thinking about this before I even came here today because you were like my catalyst, one of my big catalysts into wanting to come to LA.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I don't think you maybe realize that, but remember the show we did in Chicago with Guy Branum?
Yes, that's where I met you in Chicago.
Exactly. And,
Yeah.
and I was really new when
Yeah.
I did that show. And so I did that like little opening spot for you guys, and I felt like such a fucking queen. But to me, you guys were already like a super big deal.
No.
But at the time, you know how things kind of just, how you kind of look at, like, later, I've been doing stand-up for 9 years now, but I look at comedy as, like, these classes.
Yeah.
So to me, you guys were, like, in the college level of comedy, and I was like, I want to be these guys one day. I was just, like, this, like, wannabe freshman, at the time. And so when I was thinking about moving to LA, I was like, if I move to LA, hopefully I can hang out with Justin Martindale.
And here we are.
Here we are. But I know that was a very long time ago. That was probably about 8.5 years ago.
Was it? Yeah, it had to have been.
Which is crazy because, how long have you been doing stand-up now?
This year will be, this year will be 10.
10?
10.
Oh my gosh. You're killing it for 10.
Well, that's what I was told. That's like when I first started. They were like, give it 10 years.
I know, same. I'm like, okay, cool. I have a year
shit,
left.
I'm on like 1.5 right now. I got to keep doing this.
I know.
Yeah.
And I feel like there are a lot of people that do make it sooner than that. But not really though.
Right.
Like not like a household name or like, because you're consistently on E! Now and stuff. You're like working, but it takes so long to get to that point. I don't think people realize that.
Yeah.
Like, I even remember looking at Theo Vaughn when I first started in LA, thinking he was, like, super famous. But he wasn't even really a household name at that point. He was just, like, well-known to other comics.
Right.
And then it took,
And Road Rules, lest we forget.
Right. But that probably kind of hurts you in comedy a little bit at first. Because people are like, oh, who the fuck, does this guy think he is? And then you have to, like, regain that trust.
Well,
and, like,
Theo and Christina both were MTV kids. Christina Pazitsky,
Yep. Which is crazy.
Isn't
I
that
forget about
weird?
that. Well, then obviously there's Steve-O out there in the world now, too.
Yeah, now Steve-O's out there unleashed somewhere.
Loose with his goldfish swallowing ass. But it's just interesting to watch people's careers like that because, you just kind of, I moved out here thinking, oh, this is going to just be so easy. I'm already good. And like
no.
I like 6 months in, I was like, what the fuck did I do?
Yes.
But yeah, we've survived.
Welcome to the hellmouth that is stand-up.
No shit. Where were you raised?
Where was I raised? I was raised in Texas. I
Okay.
don't know why I had to think about that.
I know, you looked like you didn't know for a second. I thought you were from Texas.
I was hatched.
Because remember we went to do that like really weird Comedy Store adjacent related South by Southwest not really show?
Oh, yeah, that hot mess that never happened, and it's probably for the best that it never happened.
Oh, my gosh. We all showed up. It was like me and, like, I shouldn't have even really been there.
Yeah.
But, like, they asked me to, like, host or open or whatever.
Right.
And then I brought Grant because he got free flights.
Yeah.
So we both came and we're like going to like host the show. And it was you and Ari and
Benji.
Yeah.
Nick Youssef,
Nick
maybe.
Youssef, yep. So, yeah. Oh, and then we show up to this venue.
Closed.
And it wasn't even there.
No, it wasn't even there. We were like, wait, but there was a flyer and everything. And they were like, we've been closed for like 3 months. We're like, what?
It was just like, and this one dude, I don't even remember his name, but he was just like full of shit about everything.
Yep.
And so we ended up finding this improv theater that like gave us a home for a couple nights.
Yeah.
So we ended up performing there like anyway, but it was just one of my first really real experiences of how comedy is not a glamorous thing.
Oh, it's not. Even though you think it is. Sometimes I pretend it is.
Yeah. I mean,
but everyone's like, well, I want to do stand-up. And I'm like, oh, get ready.
Get ready for it. I mean,
Oof.
because you have these big epic days where you're like doing a show for 600 people, and then you're in a basement of a strip club. And it's very humbling every day.
Yeah.
Me and Rachel are about to leave for our Europe tour.
Oh, right, yeah.
And we don't have any idea how it's going to go.
That's always good.
Have you, I mean, you just don't know. You don't know
Yeah.
how you're going to sell tickets because we're relying on ticket sales. We're like, we just pray to God people want to come to our shows.
Yeah.
Have you performed in Europe before?
Yes. It was on a boat in Greece.
Oh, that kind of counts.
Luxury.
What? A boat in Greece?
I was on a
cruise
ship.
Cruise ship.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like it was like 2009, and like I got hired by this cruise liner. It's just a big gay circuit party of just
That sounds awesome.
dudes and dongs
Dudes and dogs.
and costumes, and I was like, what the ninth level of hell is this?
Was it just a cruise ship that stayed in Greece?
No,
It
we
just
did
circled
Rome, Greece, and Egypt.
Oh, nice.
Egypt
That's a
was
cool.
terrifying, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
But then I just got back from Lebanon in November. I was there.
Yeah, you were with Crystal.
Yeah, that was fun.
And Ron and I have been working on some cool stuff together.
That was a fun trip.
I've heard really good things about that trip.
Beirut is great.
Are people really like
Awesome, yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I hope will be the case in Europe too, where they're like just excited to see somebody different come perform there. And we're girls. I mean, like, hopefully people won't be that assholey to us.
Well, I don't know. I've seen a couple of the Hostel movies, so who knows how this could go.
I know. Well, it's funny you say that because Rachel got us a partnership with this like security device because we were like, we're gonna need one of these anyway.
Right? Yeah. Be careful.
Yeah, and so we're like, if anything happens to us, like a really large alarm is gonna go off.
That's good. Yeah, because you know what? No one wants a blowtorch to the eyeball.
No,
You know?
oh, that was the grossest part of that movie,
Yeah.
and I was really tortured by that for a while. But I still, the way I look at it now when I travel is I'm 34. At this point, nobody's gonna want me.
What?
I'm like, I'm too old
No, you're not.
for these hostile people.
No.
They want the 21-year-olds that don't know what they're doing yet.
Right.
And I know how to annoy the shit out of somebody if I need to. So I think I could annoy myself to freedom. How did you get into stand-up?
Accidentally.
Oh, I love these stories.
Yeah.
Tell.
Well, I moved out here like right when the recession hit, which was a perfect time to move out to Los Angeles. You know,
Yeah.
no money, no
jobs,
no goals, nothing. And I was poor.
Yes.
Like poor, like eggs and toast for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah.
Poor. And in a relationship, which was weird, I was like, this is a cheap relationship. It's
Yeah.
great. But it sucked. It sucked. I remember just having like bouncing from job to job to job to job to job, like nightclubs and the hottest
Service
club.
industry
Yeah,
and-
this is going to be the newest, hottest shit in LA.
And you make no money for
No
like
money.
6 months because it's overstaffed.
And they can't pay you.
Yep.
And so you would show up to your job and there would be locks on the door and they'd be like, yeah, we're closed now. And you're like, well, were you going to like let us know?
Yep. That happened to me in Chicago so many times.
It was the worst. And so I finally, like, I'd always had a good sense of humor. Like I was always funny in school and I was the class clown and all that stuff. And I remember being a kid and people telling me like, you should do stand-up. You'd be funny if you like do comedy or whatever. And I was like, that's terrifying.
Yeah. Well, and as
And
a kid,
then-
you don't even think that that's a realistic
I
thing.
know. I was
You're
like, shouldn't I be a
"What?"
doctor or something? Like, wow, set the bar high, guys.
Right?
And then I just remember I was watching some television show, and it was like a, I can't even remember what it was, but it was a comedy special. And I can't remember who exactly it was, but these comics were on doing stand-up, and I was just like watching it, and I was like, these guys suck. I was like, I could do this shit. I was like, what have I got to lose?
I'm really curious which one it was now.
I can't remember.
Throw it out
I
there.
can't remember.
If it comes
honestly.
to you, you
it's
have
nobody
to,
we know.
Right.
It was like
they've all
yeah.
given up because they suck,
Sure.
obviously.
Yeah. But yeah, I just remember being like, I could do this. So I remember seeing somewhere on Facebook. My friend Bruce Daniels did or still does this show in Silver Lake at Akbar on Tuesdays. And I just hit him up and was like, "Hey, I think I want to like try this out." And he was like, "Okay, you got 6 minutes, go." And I was like, 6 minutes? What do I do?
Yeah.
Like just freaking out. And I just wrote everything down. And I remember I had like my friends came, and I remember my best friend was on a date. It was like his first date, and he came to see me, and he's like, "You better be good because I'm on a date." I was like, "Why would you do this
Don't
to
put
me?"
that kind of pressure on me. Shit.
But it was the first time that I actually felt right, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Like I got up on stage, I finished, I did great, and I was
6
like,
minutes is a lot for anybody that listens. For anybody that listens,
I think we're 6 minutes in right now.
6 minutes is a lot of time for
Yeah.
your first set.
It's a lot.
It's
yeah.
a lot.
And from then on, I kind of bounced around on like monthly shows. I kind of skipped over like the open mic scene, which was kind of weird because it's like that's like a huge rite of passage. I mean, I've done some
Yeah.
shitty gigs, but like I missed that whole thing. Like I would do like Tammy Jo Deeren would do like a night in like at a restaurant and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah,
it's
like
kinda,
Malo and stuff back in the day. I used to do those
Sid.
shows.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now she's still doing the Comedy Store now on Fridays and Saturdays,
Yep.
which is awesome. So I owe a lot of my comedy career to her because it was one show in El Cid. So I started 2008 in October. That was the first gig I did, and then I treat my stand-up career like the day I got passed at the Comedy Store. So
Yeah.
So October 2008 to June 2009, I had been doing stand-up for that many months.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
then I did a show. I got brought into the Comedy Store to do a bringer show. And that's when Mitzi Shore like walked by and saw me, and she was like, make him a paid regular.
Fuck. That's like unheard of.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking rad.
That is unheard of. But that's also a good thing to talk about because I feel like you can become a paid regular and that sounds like so much clout, and it is so much clout.
Yeah.
But doesn't translate to like financial bliss right
No,
away.
not at all. I had no idea.
Because people think once your name is on the wall, like
Right.
things are easy
You're
for you.
rich.
No, but I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think people realize, like, there are a lot of people who got passed a long time ago like that, and it took them forever to be able to be like,
Right.
yeah, I feel comfortable
Right.
as a performer now.
Right. So that was like I missed all of that. So I look at it and I'm grateful that at least I've had, 10 years to figure out who I am, what's my voice.
And you have such a good space to do it in.
Right. What I have to talk about, make friendships and, lifelong friendships and really learn the nitty-gritty and the,
Yeah.
you learn how it like really is, and you learn and you see people for who they truly are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What was some of the most interesting things you experienced being at the Comedy Store that long ago? Because Comedy Store has gone through like a lot of different cycles. I've been a part of like 2 separate cycles of the Comedy Store, and I kind of like hid from the Comedy Store for a while as well.
It's got this reputation of like being a very, very dark place,
Right.
and it is. I mean,
It's not wrong.
It's
turn your
definitely.
phone on
Oh,
silent.
sorry, I had my phone on because I'm a dick.
I'm turning it on silent. That's what's easy about
Who's
iPhones.
texting me? Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
about
fuck that person.
Oh, I matched someone on Chappie.
Yay!
It gets better. Thanks, stand-up comedy.
We can do it. Winners.
No, but I mean, a lot of people are very scared about it because it has this crazy ass history to it.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of ego.
For sure.
It's got a lot of bitterness.
Sure.
A
yeah.
lot. I mean, and when you put all those together, I mean, you're gonna get, the Comedy Store, I guess.
Ego and bitterness is like not always a bad, because the opposite of those are obviously like humility and positivity, and there's a lot of that to balance it out too.
There is, yeah. Don't get me wrong. Like there are those people that I see on a regular basis there that I know I can not see them for a while and just go right up to them and we just catch up.
Yeah.
Like, how have you been?
That's how I
What's
feel
going
with
on?
Punky.
Yeah.
Every time
Yeah.
I see her, my face just hurts from being so happy.
Yeah, she's great.
But
Yeah.
there's certain people like that I'm just, because I was there last night, you know, and certain people just make you feel like really great. So, I mean, I always like to try to paint for people because there is that stigma, period, in comedy that everybody's depressed and hates it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, there are parts of that, but I think that's just anybody in entertainment or performance. That's people that are attorneys as well.
Right,
like,
right.
You know, that's just kind of life.
Everybody hates their job.
Everybody hates their
some
job
point.
sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, it is a job.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. I have like banged on the walls and just been like, "What the hell am I doing with my life?"
Fuck yeah, of course. And like
Yeah.
you just have to kind of create your own way, whatever that is. Like that's why I started creating my own tours years ago because I was like, ugh, I don't like these road gigs, like true road gigs where I'm in like podunk nowhere.
Podunk nowhere.
I didn't like going back to a hotel room by myself with nobody to socialize with. I'm such a social
With fluorescent
person.
lighting.
Exactly.
Ew.
Ugh, and the smell of like some of those Ramada inns. You're just like, what happened in here? Like death and
Like the housekeeping lady just walks by you and just looks at you and just goes, "Shh."
Yes, exactly.
You're like, what?
You're like, does everybody have a key to my room? I feel like I can't even close my eye. And so that's why I was like, okay, what do I like about comedy? I like connecting with people. I like the social aspect. I like the fact that we, I just like I really like being social after shows when I'm like somewhere new. And so I was like, oh, I really like performing in New York. I like performing in Seattle. And so I was just like, oh, I just got to figure out a way to perform there.
Yeah, yeah,
you know, because then I didn't feel like so bad about it. So, I mean, there's ways to kind of navigate yourself around those kind of negative pockets. But.
Yeah, and that's what I'm really excited about this year because I have a great opportunity. I'm going on the road with Jim Jeffries.
That's fucking awesome.
So that is, I'm very, very excited / scared about that.
No, that's going to be great.
No, it's great. We already did Vegas, which was
Yep.
Vegas on St. Patrick's Day. What could go wrong?
What? Oh my God. So
I
you
know.
just had the drunkest fuckers in the
Oh
world.
man, but it was way fun. But it was just funny because it was like at the Mirage Theater in Vegas, and Jim's
Yep.
just like, Vegas is shit. And
Well,
he's like,
but
but we're gonna have a blast
Drunk
everywhere
people,
else.
like, not only you handle crowds well
Yeah.
as it is, but like
Thanks.
drunk people are kind of the most fun hecklers because they're dumb.
Yeah.
They're just easy to
Yeah.
fix, you know?
Well, and I mean, I feel like everyone now is just crazy, or at least I think everyone's insane
Yeah.
at this point with
Yes.
politics and all that
Just
nonsense.
everything
and
happening. Yeah.
Everything's just.
Yeah.
But no, like Friday, I'm in Nashville, so I'm doing the Grand Ole Opry, which is like a huge.
No, that's such a
huge
pretty
thing.
venue.
Yeah, I'm so excited about that because
have
like
so
I grew
many-
up in the South, so that's just
Yeah.
like huge. And like my grandma passed away in March, so like she was a big like country queen and like went to school with Elvis Presley and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
like knew him and like so that's like a cool little. I get to think of her on that stage.
Oh, that'll be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you played a venue that big before? I mean, Grand Ole Opry seats what, thousands?
Something, yeah.
Thousands.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I'm just gonna walk out there like a god. No.
You know, and it's funny because like when me and Rachel were putting together our Europe tour, we were looking for venues that were between 100 and 130 seats, which is a very specific number, but we were comfortable with being able to fill something like that.
Right.
And can you imagine being at a point where you're like, yeah, 6,000 seats,
I know.
like I got this.
I can't eat.
like fuck.
Jim walks out there and he's just like, all right, here we are. And I'm like, what?
But I can't wait until like we all hit a point where we're like, yeah. I mean, I hope we all get.
Well, a lot of you. I mean, Crystal Lee is doing it right now. You know, that's insane.
Dane Cook always has.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like
I mean, Rogan and
Jeselnik does pretty high like that. I don't know if he does thousands of, but I mean, he can.
yeah.
God, it's just crazy to think of like what things were 10 years ago versus
How time.
Oh, time is
changes.
so great
It's
and
so
weird.
It is weird.
It's so weird.
It is very weird.
When you were getting into this, like you didn't start in Texas at all, right?
No.
You just moved out here.
Yeah.
What brought you here then?
I don't know. I honestly, I think I was just
I ended up on this bus. I just
Yeah.
woke up and I was in.
I lived in Dallas, and I grew up in San Antonio, and then I lived in Dallas, and then like I was with two of my like really good friends from high school. They were like, let's move out to LA. And we're like, let's do it. So it was like the ocean and the sun and the people.
Yeah, why not?
And I was like, all right, cool. And then we got out here, and it was just I got sucked into all the wrong things.
Well, how young were you?
God, I was 25. No, I don't know. Hold on. The first time I moved out here was 2000. Yeah, I was 22. Yeah.
22. Yeah, and that's like I moved out here when I was 26.
Yeah.
But I think if I had come even 3 years before, I would have been fucked. Because
Yeah.
in Chicago, it was like it's such like a lively, easy kind of going out scene.
Mm-hmm.
And there wasn't as much prevalence of drugs because people just drink so much.
Right.
You know,
Because it's cold.
It's cold. People are drunk. People are drunk in the winter to stay warm and be hopeful for the summer. And then when the summer comes, people drink to celebrate the fact that it's not cold.
And you can wear shorts
you
because
just
it's
drink
45 degrees
all the
outside.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I even think about that. I'm like, if I would have moved out here when I was 23, like, fuck.
It's a lot.
Who knows what I would have gotten into?
And it's even crazier now just because it's like as you get older, you see that the younger crop of kids coming in. Mm-hmm. And so, like, even last night I went out to this bar, and like people were like, oh, that's so and so, and I'm like, who? And they're like, they have 145 million followers on Instagram. They're a huge YouTube star, and you're like, oh God,
fuck that
I'm
person.
like, oh, this is, I'm like, and then you just like look at them, and they have like, their lips are all blown out, and like, you're
that
just
whole
like,
that Kylie Jenner face. There was one cafe that I walked into in West Hollywood one day, and I looked, and everyone had the same face. And I was like, I don't belong in here.
it's pretty intense.
It's pretty crazy.
But it's like now that, because I host this fashion show on E! So it's like, I don't know, like the 16-year-old like pop stars. You know what I mean? I have my pop stars, all my pop culture. So it's like I have to catch up.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm getting like these these like kids who are just trolling me. They're like, you don't know anything. And I'm like, I'm learning. Just stick with
Leave
me.
me alone.
I was like,
I'm an elderly person.
I'm going to hit on your dad. Go away.
It's a lot. It's so much to keep up on. Like, even I like Laugh Factory put out a couple videos of me recently. And me and my friends picked one video one night to like get drunk and comment on the trolls too, because I knew on the YouTube portion I was going to get trolled.
Yeah.
It doesn't troll.
Oh, the comments.
People don't troll on Facebook the same way at all because you can link to them.
People fight on Facebook.
People fight, but they don't troll as much because you
Right.
can literally go to their profile and like see their shit.
Right.
And on Instagram, it's not bad either. Like, I didn't really find a lot of anything. There's nothing concerning on. But we picked one night, and I was like, I don't ever read YouTube comments on anything, but I want to see how many comments are like, women aren't funny, blah 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 blah. So we picked 1 hour where we like combated all these people and just fucking ravaged as hard as we could, but like trying to do it in a smart way. And then we turned off the clock, and then I was like, I'm never looking at YouTube again.
Bye.
Never doing it again. I wanted one night to do it.
It's so funny.
It's so
How
ridiculous.
people just hide behind like a little, what's it called?
Yeah.
What are they called? The little, the profile picture. What are they? The
Oh,
little
a little
eggs?
emoji,
Yeah.
a little whatever the fuck.
I mean, that's the funny thing. Everyone's always like, don't read the comments, don't read the comments. But then I'm like, I don't want to read the comments because I like clapping back at people. Like,
It is fun
Like if you're
too.
if you're gonna call me a name or something, I'm gonna be like someone even said, I had a joke about like, maracas or something. Like I was wearing this shirt, and my co-host Morgan Stewart was like, you look like you could play some maracas in that. And I was like, yeah, and I was making like a Cuban Pete from The Mask reference. I was like, yeah, give me some more chips and salsa or whatever.
Yeah.
Some girl was like, chips and
Racist.
salsa is Mexican, maracas are Spanish. And I was like, and I just responded back with, okay, easy. And she was like, LOL. I'm like,
Calm down, people.
Jesus.
Everybody wants to think something is.
Oh.
Everything's a something, and like there was even. I used to do this joke, and I did it again maybe like a year ago somewhere where I talk about having 10 slutty friends and making them sleep around for me, and that's how I'm able to like stay in a relationship in LA, whatever. Mm-hmm. And some girl came up to me after a show and was like, I don't really think it's nice that you call your friends slutty.
Okay, bye.
And I was like, they're my friends, though. I can pretty much call them whatever I want.
Yeah.
I'm like, get out of here.
But like, thank you.
And she's like, that's not feminism. I'm like, you don't know.
Do you know how many of her
feminism.
friends call her sluts behind her back?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this ring a bell for you?
Yeah. God, it's so amazing.
But it's like, you have to be so, it's like, it's an interesting time because it's like you're on eggshells, everything you have to like tiptoe around, but at the same time, it's so much fuck it as well. So like a lot of people are just like, fuck it, I'm going to say everything now. So it's like this weird like tornado of shit.
Yeah,
But
totally.
I'm finding it very fascinating.
It is fun.
And I don't do anything political, so I think that
No.
helps. And you don't either. You have some pop culture stuff, but
Yeah, I definitely don't do politics. I
Yeah,
can't.
that's
it's
not-
too, especially when I'm going to Tennessee.
Oh, God.
None of that.
well, and that was the biggest thing for going overseas.
Tennessee and Maryland. That's this weekend. Whoa.
Oh gosh. Yeah, going overseas to a lot of these venues were like, we have to like kind of vet you and make sure you don't talk. And I was like, thank God I've never talked about like it's just
Right.
not.
I like
Ever
talking.
been my
I mean,
thing.
I just like talking about like life experiences. I like when
Same.
people come up to me after my sets and they're like, "Did that really happen?" And I'm like, "Yes."
Yeah.
Like I don't make this shit up.
That was what happened last night. So Saturday, I ended up having a crazy night. That was the night I was going to come out to Justine's birthday, but it was kind of this cesspool of people being in town, and there was too many birthdays from all this summer fucking, and then
Summer fun.
and one of my friends had their younger cousin in town who was 21, and these girls were. I was worried that the girls were going to be sloppy,
Yeah.
and it turned out that the friend who's our age got sloppy, and the younger cousin had to like take care of him.
Ooh, him.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But anyway, needless to say, somebody ended up at our house that night upset, that one of the 21-year-olds, and she was on the edge of our couch talking, venting about everything, hammered, wouldn't leave. And then she turns towards me, and it was a Sharon Stone, no underwear on moment. And I realized that she's been in a mini dress for an hour and 15 minutes on my couch with her vagina on the edge of my couch.
Was it just out?
It was just out. And she was facing the other direction for a while, so I didn't know. And so then I freaked out and made her leave because I was like, you can't just put your vagina on somebody's couch.
Yeah.
It's not okay, dude.
Yeah, get your hoo-ha
So I was
off my
venting about it
cushions.
last night, and somebody came up after the show, and they're like, "Was there really a vagina on your couch?" I was like, "Yes." Why would I say that if it wasn't true?
Was she? Was she embarrassed?
She didn't even care.
Wow.
And I'm like, is that what 21-year-olds
Yeah.
are doing now?
Uh-huh.
Going to clubs with their vaginas out?
Vaginas are out. Everyone's just fucking everybody. Oh my God. Hold on. I completely forgot about this moment last night. There was this man, a grown man, probably maybe in his late 40s, early 50s at this bar with this woman. First of all, I thought she was a stripper. I'm at the Abbey, by the way, which is just trash.
Trash.
You know what? You don't go to the Abbey, especially on a Sunday, or in fact ever.
It's always bad, but
It used to be like a
fun.
gay bar, and now it's like this just non-binary trans club, no gender. Like everyone's just
fucking
fluid.
everybody.
Yes.
Everyone's just a
I was like, remember?
sex party.
Oh, it's just literally, it's a sex den.
Yeah.
This man is in his late 40s. He's on in a booth, and this woman is like pole dancing. Like she's up on the box, and she's like doing the
She's
splits.
not working there, right? She's just with
Not
this
even.
guy.
She's not employed at the Abbey, and we're all like, "Damn, this girl's good," but like her outfit, like what? And that was me. I'm like, what is she wearing? That's not stripper clothes. Like I'm like trying to be a detective about it.
Yeah.
So the security guard's like, all right, get off the thing. I was like, she doesn't even work here, but good for you.
Right.
And then she gets on the guy, and they are like dry humping to the point where we're like, I think they may actually be having sex. But like everyone, like you're them and I'm me.
Yeah.
That's how close we are, and everyone's just watching. It was like that scene in Boogie Nights where the wife's like on the sidewalk getting plowed, and everyone's just staring at her. She's like, "Get out of here, Richard!" Like, remember? Her husband's like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I'm fucking. Get out of here!" And he's like, "All right," and he like blows his brains out on New Year's Eve.
Yep.
But he was like straight up like grabbing her breasts, and like he pulled her top off, and like I mean, boobs were out. I was like, this is insane.
Oh,
Meanwhile, everyone's like making out. Guys, girls, 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 guys, guys. Like, I'm just like, this is a lot. And my friend who I was with was just like, you need to like loosen up a little bit. I'm like, I'm terrified.
That is so, like, what is wrong with people?
I don't know. He was like, why are you? He goes, you're used to like performing in front of all these people like every night. And I was just like, I know, but those are all like straight people. And like, I don't know. I just felt like that was the first time I was just kind of like,
But
like
people don't give a fuck anymore.
I know.
Like, at all. Did my headphones go out? Is it recording still? Yeah. Okay, sweet. Oh, there we go. There we go. I have it back. I was like, I got no snare in my headphones.
I got no snare.
I got no snare in my headphones.
Yeah, so that was, I mean, that was,
That's
was
an experience.
interesting. It was
like,
an experience.
And the Abbey is one of those places
and
that...
I've been to the Renaissance Fair. So...
Are there lots of open fuckings there?
Yes!
What?
Oh my God, I'm going again this year because it's so fun.
Oh my God. We went a couple years ago and we didn't stay late enough for the open air fucking.
Okay, here's the thing about Renaissance fairs. You get there, everyone's dressed up, or they're not.
Right.
And everyone's like in character. They're all like, oh, gee, good day. And you're like,
yeah.
oh, okay, shut
I
up.
motorboated a woman there and I thought it was wonderful. It was like those really big,
The
like
big boobs.
big boobs that
Yes.
are just like
Those,
a
like,
table
yeah.
almost. And
Ye old boobies.
I asked her if I could motorboat her boobs and get extra beer, and she did. She extra mead.
Mead.
She gave me
Don't
extra
get it
mead.
twisted. It's
She
mead.
liked the
I got
motorboating.
me too'd. I got mead too'd at the Ren Fair. The woman at the bar. The wench. I don't want to offend the wench community out there. We're not called wenches. Okay. We were there, and they did that thing where they pour the beer and then they pour the mead on top, so it's like a half and half.
Yep,
weird thing.
it's kind of like red and then
Wine, beer, yeah. And then so they finished the bottle, and she was like hitting on me. She was like, "Yeah, you're gonna drink this beer, Daddy?" And I was like, "Stop! Like, get out! Don't call me a daddy." And then she's like, then she puts the bottle in my mouth, and she starts like jerking me off with the bottle in my mouth. So I'm like, and like Justin May Peluso, they're all like, "Oh my God!" I'm like, they're like, "Justin doesn't have a gag reflex." I'm like, I wasn't ready to tell anyone. And so then everyone just gets like fucked up like the whole day, and then at the end of the day, that's when everyone's like, they're like, it's kind of like the club lights come on,
totally
but the
see
sun
that
sets.
happen.
Oh yeah, everyone was like looking for ass.
Where do
Ren
people
Fair,
sleep there? Is there like
I don't know. I don't think they sleep there. I mean, some of them probably do to get that whole like authenticity.
there must be
like,
some sort of like sex tent that people go to after. You have to just know the right wench, I suppose.
I guess so.
I was exposed to we used to do in high school. Were you ever in like choir or anything?
No.
Okay.
I was in theater, and I was the high school mascot.
Stop.
I was a cougar. And now I really am one.
Fuck, you were the mascot.
Yes, I was the best
I bet
mascot
you
in
were
the state
so
of Texas.
good.
Oh, I had the blast. I had
Oh
a
my
blast.
God, you'll have to bring that back sometime. Or like when you do like a special, you should like
Just come out
as a mascot.
I'm like, yeah. That was fun though.
Dude, that's one of those pieces of information about you that I would have never guessed, but I'm also like, of course you fucking were.
Of course you were, yeah.
I was in choir and we did this thing called the Madrigal Dinner every year, which was like a Renaissance dinner.
Okay.
And I got cast as a wench every year.
Well,
And
in high school?
yeah,
That's
and I was
weird.
like, you guys kind of gave me the
You're like, I'm an early bloomer. I'm sorry.
you guys kind of gave me the capacity to wench myself out for a couple years after that.
So you were like the token hoe?
Yeah, you had to like sit on people and stuff. It was like
What
a
high
whole
school did
thing.
you go
and
to?
the parents all came and it would sell out and like
Jesus, I didn't know you went to
you'd
Leaving
go
Neverland
sit on
High
people
School.
and like feed them stuff and like
God.
when I think about it in hindsight, I'm like, that is creepy.
Yeah,
but
that
we
is
all
pretty
did it
creepy.
and we like ringlet our hair and everything.
See, we did something like that in our high school where it was like Titanic came out, and I just aged myself.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And we had to dress up. Like there was this new movie theater in town, and like they asked us all. This is so funny. They asked us all to dress up like the characters from Titanic. and we had not seen the movie yet. So we were like greeting people in these like, early 1900s, like, hello, to the ship of dreams, and so we hadn't seen the movie yet. We know what happens to the Titanic, but we didn't see the movie. So people are leaving, and they're all like crying their eyes out, and they're like, "You're all dead. All of you are dead." This woman comes up to me. She's like, "You're all dead." I was like, "This is jarring." So then I told everyone that we would all like lay down in the fountain, and I was like, "Guys, let's all just like lay down in the middle of the fountain." And they were like, "What's wrong with you?" I was like, "Come on, it's the Titanic. They're all dead in the water. It's authentic." And they were like, "Justin, we're not laying down in the fountain." I was like, "Well, you guys suck."
Did you?
No.
Oh,
Because the costumes, but everyone's like, "You're pretty messed up for like thinking that." I was like, "Well, stand up."
One of the things that first got me wanting to get into comedy was this group called Improv Everywhere. Did you ever hear about them? They were like one of the first. It was kind of like what Impractical Jokers does, but they were like the first people to do it.
Oh.
There was no TV show for it. It was like a website that took a long time to load. It was like when people first started using the term. I Googled that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how long ago it was. And so I really wanted to join up with these guys, and I couldn't figure out how to like get a hold of them. And I lived in Chicago, but they had a thing in New York, and they used to do shit like that all the time, like really, really funny. There was one that they did with a magician who like they had like plugged all these other improvisers into the audience, and he like it wasn't a magician, it was a what do you do when you hypnotize people? Hypnotist.
A hypnotist.
What do you do when you hypnotize people? And he fake
I used to
hypnotized.
sit in people's laps in high school and do it.
Right. Early NPH, the whore, the whore chapter 1. There was many chapters, and this guy pretended to hypnotize all these people, and then like the people went berserk and like disappeared out of the crowd. So all these other people are trying to like snap them out of it. Like he hypnotizes all these people and then he runs away. And then these people are just like, the stuff that they used to do is really funny. Anyway, your fountain thing kind of reminded me of that because I used to try and like do fucked up things because I was just like, oh, I'm going to be like these Improv Everywhere people.
Yeah.
But then I was just me in Chicago being drunk, doing something fucked up and nobody else understood it.
It totally makes sense.
What's the most fucked up public thing that you've done? Can you think of any?
Public?
I know, it's kind of a random question.
What do you mean? Like,
I don't know. Have you ever like pranked anybody? I used to do that kind of shit all the time.
Oh yeah, I would prank people all the time. I would prank call people and do different voices and.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Like Frank Yeager type stuff.
Yeah. I mean, like public fucked up in public. I mean, there's been a lot.
Yeah.
Of me being fucked up in public.
I had just talked about one of these when I was in Chicago because I usually will like a memory will spark when I'm revisiting a city that I had done something in. But I went out in a towel once with wet hair and pretended like I was locked out of my apartment so I could get free drinks. And it worked.
That is so weird.
And
oh
it
my
worked.
God, that's crazy.
I got like free drinks all night, and I had completely forgotten about that night until like a month ago when I was back there performing, and I was like, holy fuck, I was down the street from here
funny.
in a towel.
With wet hair.
Yeah, I just would come up with these schemes when I was younger because I was so broke that I was like, I gotta just figure out a way to be out.
I mean, I pranked a lot of people in high school. I remember I snuck into the girls' locker room once and put on the Scream mask.
Oh God! Oh God!
And was running through the girls' locker room with a fucking knife, and yeah.
What? Oh my God!
But like not, it was a full-on kitchen knife. Like, I guess plastic knives didn't exist back then.
Yeah. Oh my God!
And people were like, "What are you doing?" And I was just like, "Wow,
this is funny."
And the girls were like, "Justin," I'm like, "Oh my guys," but like you can't
You're
do
like,
that
I'm
shit
the
now.
Scream mascot today.
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
If you did that now, you'd be like murdered. Oh my God!
Just tased.
I think of anything that we used to do back in the day, and I'm like, nobody could do any of this shit now. Like, I don't know. We just pranked each other all the time. Now everybody's like, I'm gonna sue you.
Yeah. Fun anymore.
No fun anymore.
No fun anymore.
Yeah. When you were growing up, did you have like a lot of little episodes that made you think you would get into comedy, or what was like young Martindale like?
Oh, young Martindale was very, very, very creative and competitive. So we had this
Ooh.
thing in Texas called UIL, which was I don't know what it stands for, but it was like a competition. So they would have like all the different schools. It was kind of like Harry Potter. Like you'd have all the different like like there was.
Yeah, the like
So
squads
I
or
had my
schools.
school, and then there was the rival school,
Right.
and we would compete either in like theater or drama or sorry, improv or
Oh,
speech
that's
and
cool.
debate.
That's
So it was-
really cool.
So you would like have to come like you'd have to come up with a lot of like if you entered into a thing, there were like rules, regulations, and all that stuff. So you would like a big thing for me was like improv. So
Yeah.
improv was right off the bat like when I was sixth grade. Like I just went in, I just loved it because it was just I got to create this like world and environment and like
Yep.
my imagination was always running crazy.
I could totally see that.
And so I would like come home with just like plaques and like ribbons and like I would just
Yeah.
because I would enter into like 11 or 12 events. Like it was crazy.
It's cool that you guys had that.
It was very cool. I don't know a lot of other places that did
No.
do that, but like it was
like a
it- I-
creativity
I made a
fest.
whole day out of it. Yeah, it was like you'd have your competition would be like on Saturday, and then it would be like, oh, my first event's at 9, then I have this at 10, then I'm gonna break for lunch, and then I have to go do this at 1, then at 2, 3. Like it was just stacked.
Yeah.
And then at the end they did the awards ceremony, and so I would just sit there and they'd go through like honorable mention and fourth, third, second. Not everyone got a ribbon. Not everyone got a trophy. Yeah, and I just remember being like, no one said my name yet. And then they'd be like, and so that the plaques were like above the blue ribbons. So I would just fucking walk out like
Yep.
the boss.
Oh, it's so fun.
It was very fun. And then, yeah, I just kind of always had like theater arts and like anything creative, writing or anything like that. I
Yeah.
was always good in. And I always like went the extra mile where everyone else like gets up with a report and they're like, my favorite food
Yeah.
is pizza. And I'm like, oh, where do I begin with what my favorite food is?
I
There's
was-
so many delicacies. Just choose from. And everyone's like, sit down, Justin.
Yep.
You're being gay again. You just don't know it yet.
When did you come out, by the way?
Oh, good question. Which time?
Did you come out to like friends first and then family later, or like?
I came out. Yeah, I came out. I was outed actually, which was it was hard, but in school, and then told my parents later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the Southern, like, was that tough for
It-
them?
It was for a little bit, and now it's just kind of like I just have to like. My sister kind of had a hard time with it. My brothers were still really young, and then so I didn't want to like have them get like bullied in high school and stuff like that.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, because in the South, I mean, especially when we were growing up, like even in the Midwest, that wasn't a very common.
Mm-hmm.
Like we had like one gay guy in my high school. Or at
no, you
least-
had more.
We
They're
had
just
more,
not there,
but we
yeah.
had one that came out.
Yeah,
and named Sean, and it was. Everyone was like, "Oh, this is cool."
Yeah.
Because like we just didn't have a lot of diversity, so
Right.
having somebody different was actually like, "Oh, sweet,
Yeah.
that's awesome."
I didn't really have I didn't really have any problems. I never got like, I mean, everyone went through that like middle school, high school phase where everything was gay for a minute.
Yeah.
You're, oh, that's gay, and I'm like, actually, it's really not.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I always I never got into like fights. I always used my words.
Yeah.
And that's when it was like, that's what I do now on stage. If somebody's not behaving, it's like
Right.
I turn that on and I'm
yeah. You snap them back.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've always been really sharp with that kind of stuff. I
Just-
mean, did you write or anything for your high school paper or anything like that?
No. I was just I was in all the plays. I was in all the, I was, no, it was weird because it was like a typical Texas high school. It was kind of great,
I feel
Everyone
like when I
was
think of
great.
Texas high schools, I feel like I picture like
Varsity Blues.
iconic movies.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was kind of like that. I mean, it was like It was like Can't Hardly Wait. It was the time.
Whipped
It was
cream
like
bikinis just
yeah,
everywhere.
it was the 90s. It was like the late 90s, and it was like pop music was everything. We had, those summer vacations where it would like rain and we're all in our pickup trucks and we'd go out
Yeah.
in the ditch and we'd go mudding and
Yeah.
like the cheerleaders say to the football players, and then
Like in Wisconsin, it was kind of the same shit, and it was fun.
yeah,
I loved high school.
it was way fun. It was just a good group of people to grow up with.
Same with us.
And we were all friends. Like it was like there were cliques. I was never in a clique.
Were you like a migrator? Because
I
I
was
was
a
kind of like
migrator.
that too.
So I had the jocks, I had the cheerleaders, I had the band kids, I had the theater kids,
Totally.
and that's just how I always was. And then, like I transferred into this school my sophomore year in high school, and then like by my senior year, I was I did the announcements in the morning.
Oh, of course.
And then I did, yeah, and I did like all like the funny stuff, and then I got most humorous in the class, and then I was homecoming king, yeah.
Dude, so you're like, that was like, you're just kind of naming who you are now. It's always so
The queen
fascinating.
bee.
It's always fascinating to me to like have these moments because, like I say, we know each other forever, but you don't know a lot of these little nuggets about
Yeah.
somebody. But I'm always not surprised at all when I hear facts about friends of mine. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, that totally makes sense.
This makes sense,
Cool,
yeah.
you did that? Totally makes sense. And I never did any, like, I never got involved in the announcements or the paper either, but I also used to perform everything that I did.
Yeah.
Like, when I had to do, there was one time that we had to do a speech on Hamlet, and I made my friend rewrite Hamlet, like Guilty Conscience from Eminem and Dre, and we rapped it.
See, that's cool.
And it was awesome.
Yeah.
And so, like, different stuff like that we would do just to try to make it, like, more creative. Like, but our school didn't have a lot of, I mean, we had creative options. There
Yeah.
were things, but it's just funny how nobody really, in that day and age, like, didn't really encourage that as a job. I feel like nobody really told anybody that that was a thing you could do, like go perform,
Yeah.
you know?
I lucked out because I had those.
You did
like
have those.
I had great mentors. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I mean, and I will remember them forever. Like I'll give them a shout out. It was Miss Lepresto. That was her name, Lepresto.
It's a cool last name.
Miss Lepresto. Oh, sorry, kicked you.
okay.
Miss Lepresto was my theater teacher. Then I had Mr. Hoig, who was my drama teacher in high school, and then I had Miss Mogford in college, she was just the best. So
Yeah.
but they had those, and they were all very different in my life. You know what I mean? Like, and Miss Mogford was, in that period of like, am I gay? Am I straight? Like, what's going on? And I could go into her office and she'd be like, you are talented. Okay, first and foremost, that's it. Who gives a shit what all these other fuckers think about you? You're not going to see them ever again after school. And if you do, that's because you're friends with them and they like you for who you are.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, oh, okay, yeah. Because I thought, like I was done for. And I even remember when I started comedy because I was like the gay at the store. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's like a whole new high school situation
Yes,
almost.
exactly. And everyone was just like, I remember people, like comics coming up to me and they're like, so are you going to like try and like sleep with me now? And I'm like, exactly. Yes. And I'm like, no, you're a 4.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, who the hell are you?
What? It's so
Yeah.
funny how certain guys
Excuse me.
immediately think that.
Yeah.
Whether it's to a woman and they're straight or to a
Right.
guy and they're gay, but like
Right.
you're like, really? You think that you're fuckable?
Right. And it's also you get looked at as like, oh, you're less than. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like, or like I'm supposed to, watch the girlfriends while you go like, swing your dick around in the back or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's just, it's something that I've been trying to kind of bring awareness to. And that's in my stand-up too. I don't really even mention it.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like there's other things to talk about.
Right. Well, and it doesn't. I mean, it matters. Like it matters who you are, who you're attracted to
Right.
as a person.
And I'll
but,
bring
like,
it up if it comes up
of
like
course,
that. You know what
but
I mean?
it doesn't need to like define you.
Yeah, it's not
you know?
like, oh, it's like female comic, black comic, Jewish comic, gay comic. It's just like, no, we're just comics. We're just funny.
Yeah, we're just talking about shit that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's I hate the labels of that.
And I remember having
Maybe am I a non-gender binary comic?
Yeah, I think you are.
I did it.
You're the Abby of comics. No, I'm kidding. That's not
Abby of
necessarily
comics.
That's not necessarily good anymore.
Oh.
But I remember having that conversation with you. I forgot where we were, like, years ago. We ran into each other out somewhere. But, like, you were talking about how hard it was. Because I remember even saying back then, like, why aren't you on E?
Oh, God, yeah.
Because you had, like, this ongoing thing with E almost forever.
It's been 10 years. That's what's crazy. Because they went from Chelsea, then they flipped it. They got rid of comedy. Now they want to bring comedy back, or do they? I mean, that's how you learn.
And you were on this roller coaster of it the whole time, which is really tough.
It's very emotionally
because you keep thinking,
draining.
I'm gonna have a study this, and then fuck, I'm not, and then no.
Yeah.
But I remember you saying that you're like, I don't know if it's just because I'm gay.
Yeah.
Like, if it's just hard to find a market for like who your audience is in a network size.
Right. And this was pre, Instagram, pre Snapchat.
Sure.
I mean, now everyone's just like, that's the funny thing too, is that I'm trying to realize is that, everyone's just like, oh, I got to get on TV. I got to get on TV. Hello, you were holding a TV in your hand.
I know.
So that's the thing. It's like, it can come from anywhere. I mean, look at, one of my favorites right now is Kyle Dunnigan. I mean, my God, his Instagram videos crack me up.
Yep.
And like get sent, like we send them all to each other. I'm trying to even think even in like the gay pop culture, there's podcasts and all that stuff. It's like, you're doing one right now.
Yeah.
It's like there's different outlets for people to do things.
And touring and performing is becoming a whole different thing now too. I mean, like, as much as there's so much clout with comedians who actually work for 10 years or 15 years and you want to like hang on to that.
Yeah.
There is something to be said who when people are smart enough to market themselves in a YouTube or an Instagram fashion. We may not consider them like, oh, you're not a real stand-up, but some of these people can sell out these massive, and it's like, if you can sell, nobody gives a fuck how much time you spend doing anything.
Right.
If you have an audience that wants to come and see you live and will pay to see you, you can work.
And that can be frustrating to some.
It can be frustrating to
for
some.
Sure. You're just like, what? I got bumped by Grumpy Cat?
Yeah, exactly.
And you're just like,
exactly. When I was at JFL this last summer, I was trying to go to some of the shows that weren't stand-up because I already knew everybody that performed. So it's like I could go see my friends. Or I could try to check out something new. So there was one night that I went to this show, and it was a kid who is a famous streamer, video game streamer. Mm-hmm. And he sold out this theater of probably like 2,000 people. Jesus. And he opened up trying to be a little funny, like TED Talky, stand-up-y kind of thing. And people were all dying because they're huge fans of him. And then he played video games on stage for like an hour and a half.
What?
And he sold this motherfucker out.
That's crazy.
And
I know.
I only stayed for the first like 20, 30 minutes. I just wanted to see what it was.
Yeah.
And I walked in and I was like, these people are infected. It doesn't even matter if he picked his ass for 20 minutes on stage.
People are into it.
They'd be like, that is the best ass picking.
There was a little girl at dinner yesterday. We were all sitting at Justine's dinner last night, and one of our friends, he's like, oh my God, he got on his phone. He's like, have you seen? Excuse me. He's like, have you seen? I forget her name, but she's literally like this 5-year-old, like, fashionista, I guess, and she's like she's on the red carpets, and she's just like serving and giving you looks, and you're just like, what? I mean, I feel like that's kind of how it always has been. It's just now we have like the technology to just like put it out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Anyone can make their kids famous now.
Yeah, I mean.
I'm like, people are starting Instagram for their babies now. So like, my baby is going to be so hot.
Oh, man. Instagram dogs of Instagram. Like, it's so like.
I know, it's crazy. But needless to say, it's working. It's at least working for both of us kind of now. I didn't want to get on Instagram for a long time.
Yeah.
I refused to for like the first 3 years. And then I finally was like, I guess I need to go
I know,
on this
because you
train."
have to like succumb to it.
You
You know what I
have
mean?
to.
You're just kind of like I went over like 2 hashtags and I was like, oh God, I'm that person. You know, it's like,
Then I'm that person a lot.
but I mean, but then it's also, you see those people, it's like hashtag Monday, hashtag burrito, hashtag,
Jennifer Lopez.
hashtag, yeah, you're just like, wait, what?
Yep,
And
yep.
I never do that. I never search on the hashtags.
I don't really either. I just
put it out there,
hashtag
but-
myself and I hashtag like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even think I'm doing hashtags right. Like, I can do some things pretty good on Instagram, and then other things I'm like, I just don't really care.
Yeah. Hashtag.
Hashtag.
That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah,
God.
but there is a thing, like, Instagram can be, and like, me and Rachel got our entire tour of hotels comped throughout all of
Where
Europe.
are you going?
We're doing, we're starting at Inverness, going to Edinburgh, London, Berlin, Prague, and then Paris.
That's going to be so much fun.
I can't wait!
That's going to be so
I
much
hope
fun.
people come
You'll
to
be
all
great.
of our shows.
They
Come
will.
to all of our shows if you're listening. But
Yeah.
we're already getting sales overseas, which is great to see that coming in every morning. So, I mean, we're just hoping for the best. But either way, like,
And
it's
it's
going to
just
be
you
a
two?
trip of a lifetime. Yep. It's
And
just us
just what,
two.
like a local?
We get a local host, and then, like, there's a couple shows we have a local opener as well. But her and I are just going to do 45 minutes each and fucking bang it out.
Do it.
And in this will be my 4th time actually. End of May, I'm headlining in the Caribbean again. I go out there every year, and I just do a 1-woman show, and I do like an hour myself in these different, like, my friend has this really cool pub, and that sells out because there's no comedy out there. So there's like really cool ways to go about this career where
Yeah.
you're like, I want to go there. I'm going to make some money while I go.
Yeah.
So
there's a way.
yeah, there's always a way. It's some damn work, but there's always a way.
Yeah.
So what do you have coming up that you're excited about that you want to plug? This will be coming out not this Tuesday, but the following.
Oh.
Not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow.
A week from tomorrow. So I will be on the road with Jim Jeffries and from now until the end of the year. And so
It'll be the end of the year.
yeah, so I'm doing at least like two
Two weekends
gigs a month.
A month. Okay.
Yeah. So with him, and they're all traveling different theaters and stuff like that. So
And
if-
these kind of gigs are so ideal because you'll fly out for the weekend, hammer it out, and then you come back and do work in LA during the week, which
it's
is really
pretty
cool.
crazy.
It's
like
a really
this
good
week,
setup.
This week's gonna be pretty bonkers because it's
Yeah.
like Nashville Friday, Baltimore Saturday, come home Sunday, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, well, and then I tape Tuesday
For
with
E.
the fashion. Yeah. So that'll be fun. So if you want to come see me, come or go to jimjeffries.com, and if he's in your town, I'll probably be with him. So, and then you can catch me on What the Fashion on E's Snapchat Discover page, and follow us on Instagram at @E_What the Fashion,
And your Instagram.
and my Instagram, Justin Martindale. And then I have a show coming out, a dance show coming out in
Yeah.
the not too distant future.
I was like, I just had Justine on recently. I was like, do we still have not an air date? Okay, no public air date yet.
We had an air date, and then it got pushed because we got to market it correctly.
See, and
they have a lot invested in it.
That's
and
good.
it's such a great show.
Pushing is not a bad thing.
Yeah. So we were at first like, damn. I think it comes out early January.
Okay.
So they want to like use the rest of the summer and press and all that stuff.
And that's
so,
smart. I
and
mean,
it's a great show, and we developed it at the Comedy Store.
And it's real,
and it's fun.
and the genuine,
You should do
the
it.
relationships are genuine. Her and I have been talking about that for months,
Uh-huh.
and I'm just trying to figure out who the right partner is.
See, it really
matters.
helps. It does matter.
And I used to be a dancer, so I want to fucking do it.
Yeah.
You know, like if I do it, and I want to make sure I'm not like touring or something, so I
Yeah.
actually can do the rehearsals. But
And if you are in LA, come to our live show, our next live show called Stand Up to the Streets, May 7th,
May 7th.
7:30 p.m. at the Comedy
I can
Store.
come to that one. I'll be back.
Okay, cool.
Okay, sweet. Awesome. And you can find me at NPH Comedy on Instagram and Twitter. You can follow the podcast at Future Role Model or at Role Model Pod on Twitter. You can follow my Comedy Pop-Up Network at Comedy Pop-Up or at CPU Podcasts. Any closing remarks?
This was fun.
Yay! No, I love you. I'm so glad. Follow Justin and go see him live. He's one of the naturally funniest people.
That's correct. Yes.
You're so fucking fabulous.
Thank you.
Go see him on tour and Future Role Model. Peace.